Today, many people must make the terrible choice between paying rent or having enough food. Tragically, thousands have ended up on our streets. People of color, seniors, and women are especially vulnerable. We need housing for all income levels. But how do we get there? Misconceptions must be dispelled, and people must be mobilized to advocate to those in power, just like the prophets of old. Within a decade, Making Housing and Community Happen, or MHCH, participated in lowering Pasadena's homeless count by 56%. We have found solutions that work. Affordable housing transforms cities, churches, and people like Cynthia Kirby.
I spent nearly a decade of my life in and out of homelessness, struggling with severe domestic violence and addiction. I remember in my 10 years of homelessness learning about the inclusionary fee and learning that new apartment buildings had to have a certain set aside for affordable housing. That to me was hope. Those were things that that her group did that we're responsible for. So to realize once I was housed how much advocacy went into all of the policy and legislative changes that made it possible for me to have a home. Yeah. Today I've reunited with my daughter. I work part-time at my church as an administrative assistant, and I do a lot of advocacy around solutions to homelessness.
Jesus changed the world with teams. MHCH follows this example. Thanks to our inclusionary housing team, developers in Pasadena must set aside 20% of their units as affordable. As of 2021, this has led to over 1,000 affordable units at no cost to the city. Thanks to our Congregational Land Committee, over 46 churches have asked us to help shape their vision to have affordable housing on their underutilized land. And they are also advising cities on how to adjust zoning to make this possible. Phil Burns, head of MHCH's Congregational Land Committee, shares his story.
I'm a follower of Jesus Christ who has been called into serving as an urban planner. And I've been blessed to contribute to the work of MHCH, and in turn, MHCH has really been a blessing to me and to my company, the Arroyo Group. Today, I chair the Congregational Land Committee, which is focused on supporting congregations that want to build affordable housing on their land. Through MHCH, I've been able to mobilize the resources of our firm to do that, and we've seen how God has really blessed this effort where we now have burgeoning partnerships nationwide.
Having started a safe parking program in April 2021, our safe parking team will host church parking sites throughout the San Gabriel Valley for people living in their vehicles, where they receive support to become rehoused. Our North Fair Oaks Empowerment Team is transforming a once thriving black business district with and by the community. 150 surveys and the Northwest Job Fest helped launch this team, and today a traffic signal they advocated for stands as a tall symbol of hope. Dr. Gilbert Walton is a member of the North Fair Oaks team.
I'm Dr. Gilbert Walton. I am a retired physician and deacon here at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church. I moved to Pasadena about 30 years ago. At that time, African Americans constituted about a third of the population. Now we are below 10%. Some of those people moved away from this church because of housing injustice. As a result of that, we would like to do, in the spirit of Isaiah 58:12, restore the streets with dwellings. And we are operating by the motto of MHCH, which is we would like to beautify and not gentrify.
MHCH is launching a Community Land Trust, or CLT, whereby people own their homes, but the land is held by a trust, thereby keeping the homes permanently affordable. Started by African Americans in the Deep South, CLTs have spread worldwide, including one in Irvine that now encompasses Orange County. Our Accessory Dwelling Unit, or ADU team, worked with state policymakers and today single or multifamily property owners can have several ADUs. Within 2 years, our Affordable Supportive Housing Advocates, or ASHA team, has garnered the approval of 149 units for housing our homeless neighbors, and over 100 units of affordable senior housing right next to City Hall. Our letter writing, homeless to house bus tours, meetings with city officials, and prayer vigils are helping to create what Dr. King called the beloved community. We have a network of over 20 congregations and over 50 active committee members driven by their callings, passions, gifts, and skills. We also do one-day Housing Justice Institutes nationwide. Pastor Brita Pinkston of Pasadena Foursquare Church will describe how her congregation is working with MHCH to advocate for affordable housing.
Affordable housing helps us to honor what is asked of us in Scripture, and that is to love God and love our neighbor. And that's what I appreciate about MHCH. They put people in the center of the conversation and help build community. Our church was gifted with 9 units right next to our sanctuary. We set these aside for low and very low income renters. We wish we could set aside more since the need is so great. And we support the work of MHCH since their goal is to make sure there is decent and affordable housing for everyone in our city.
Thank you, Brita, for that beautiful word and the work that you and your church are doing. We are so appreciative of you, as well as the many other dedicated supporters and volunteers involved with MHCH. The high cost of housing is one of the biggest causes of poverty in our nation today, and yet there's essentially no law that requires that affordable housing be built. That's why we need to advocate for it. The church has a very significant role to play, with biblical mandates to care for those on the margins, and role models like the prophets and Jesus himself, whom all spoke to those in authority about doing justice. We're about equipping people to speak to decision makers knowledgeably and with respect. We educate, advise, organize, and make housing and community happen. Consider hosting a one-day Housing Justice Institute to mobilize your community. We're changing cities, changing congregations and lives as together we seek a world where everyone has a decent and affordable place to live. No one should have to choose between a place to live and a meal to eat. All deserve a place to call home.